latest news, game updates, insights, highlights, and everything Liberty Hockey. This is Rock the Rink, where Liberty Hockey lives.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Rock the Rink. Rhett McGibbon here alongside Chris Kerr and Pat Strawn. Fellas, boys dropped both games at the men's Division I level to the number one team in the nation, Minot State. Overall, I think you look at the weekend, it's some fans may be like, oh my goodness, we lost both at home. Like, what is going on here? Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is you played the best team, voted on by their peers in the country, and you come away with two goal loss games.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah. So what I'm excited for, and we'll kind of get into it, is we will get another shot at them right away, kind of coming up. Which, it's very rare in the sports world that you get to go back-to-back games and then back-to-back weekends. So I'm excited for that. But I'll be honest, guys. I thought there was a lot of small things that led to big moments and opportunities for Minot that we need to clean up.
I agree.
If we go back and watch tape, there's a lot of like, all right, how do we leave that guy wide open? All right, that was a goal off of a turnover. Mm-hmm. All right, that was just a sloppy play. So I think there's a lot of small things that we can improve upon, that we could talk about, even just with a couple of video sessions, make those corrections, and it'll be very telling of how we go into this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I think the one thing for sure is in the defensive zone, cleaning up in front of the net, right? Like you take a look at Minot State, half the goals this weekend were all second chances, right? Hunter makes the initial save and there's a rebound there. But instead of playing the man, so to speak, our guy in front, they'd be more puck watching or they wouldn't be playing him. And so then be almost at times, I heard you and Coburn talk about it, Rhett, like there were more black sweaters in front of Hunter than his own guys, right?
Yeah,
like so
a lot of traffic.
Yeah, so like that's part of the problem. They would be able to cash in a lot of the times on not the prettiest goals, but like those are the goals that count in playoff hockey, right? Like the greasier one. So like that's a big thing. And then you take it on the flip side, Minot State, how many block shots did they have, right?
Goodness.
Like they just collapsed in front of their netminder so well. Yeah. And also then so smart too, clear it out. Like you brought this up too, Kerr, last week, like something that the Flames need to do, high and off the glass and out, right? Like, and in fact, one goal that happened that tied it up, made it 2-2 in the second game. Instead of going high and off the glass, unfortunately, we tried to get it off, literally gets picked off right away. Mm-hmm. And then nice shot on net, and then they just keep jamming away at it. Yeah. And it ties the game, right? So, like, simple things like that in our own defensive zone. It's just
even the goal that was the goal number 5 in Game 2 as well was like the play on the far boards, and it was thrown into a body, and then it finds its way into the back of the net when you still had a chance to tie things up. It's just making maybe a bit more of a simple play in your own zone as opposed to being so determined to have puck possession skated out or make a pass that can then lead to you skating the whole way through the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm. There was a couple moments too in Game 1 that were reminiscent for me of Nationals, where it's just like, okay, we have all this momentum, and then the tide kind of just gets slowly pulled away. Mm-hmm. So I would also like to see just ways of stopping that crazy momentum that the other team is kind of building against us.
Yeah. They get that from their forecheck.
Yes.
And that's all. They start both games. Liberty started off being able to exit their zone fairly cleanly. Mm-hmm. And so Liberty, when they're playing their best, in my mind, is able to gain a lot of speed in between the blue lines and attack with speed. Yeah. So when they're doing that, that's great. And I spoke to somebody who's like, I felt like, Liberty looked a little slow. Liberty's not slow, but Minot State can make you slow just by disrupting your flow so well. Yeah. So I think that's one big key. I've kind of like a list of things that as like Rets 101 to like taking
them down, defeating,
and so much, and it's not even so much against Minot State. It's like how I think like winning a national championship at this level can be done with this team. But one of them is you have to have clean breakouts, right? Like you have to find a way and make adjustments to get clean breakouts. And if you don't have the opportunity, like just get it off the glass and out. Create a neutral zone turnover from that. Like set up your neutral zone trap or your neutral zone forecheck, whatever that the game plan is, and create from there. But if there are, like you said, a lot of times where Liberty failed to clear the zone cleanly, and then it found its way either into the back of the net or a scoring chance.
Yeah.
Those were key things. The other thing I'd love to see is just Liberty's shot selection. A couple of those goals on Saturday came from just horrible angle shots, but where were they? Along the net. Do you guys recall?
For goals for Liberty?
No, this is like how Minot State created goals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like instead of like from a sharp angle, they're not trying to go short side high. They're going off the ice. Like they're making it hard on Hunter. Like it is not easy as a goaltender to always clear those things out, because if it's coming in at a sharp angle, playing it behind your net's tough because the stick angle that you're going to have with your paddle. Or if you're deflecting it, you're sending it like right out in front of you, right? Like it's not an easy play to make, but they love that play. Just throw it on the pads from a sharp angle and create offense from that. And they had a couple plays where boom, they just crashed the crease and they scored. And so Liberty, like, take a chapter out of that book. Like there's times where you're coming off the rush and there's like two guys in my mind on the team, Calendike, and from what I've seen so far, Finch, that I'm going to give them the green light to look short side high and snipe. The rest of you, I'm like, don't get mad at me, friends, but put that off the pads and have somebody crash in the crease. Right. Create a rebound that comes out in front and score some ugly, ugly goals.
No, like it's almost like shooting to create.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Like, so, like, and that's the point. And look at goal 3 by Truett Olsen. Just bouncing around off bodies, and then it finds its way into the back of the net, and that's what you kind of want. But, like, honestly, though, even though we've talked about things that we would love to see Liberty do, there are things that I do like. PK, great, right? Like, PK was phenomenal this weekend, and I think that's one area you have to be happy with, because game 1, it felt like, unfortunately, the calls weren't going in Liberty's favor, and you're kind of like, well, some of these shouldn't be called and some aren't getting called. And then in game 2, nobody was getting called, right? Like, so
they have just one power play, right?
Yeah, both teams in game 2.
Really?
Yeah, both one power play opportunity. So, like, that's the thing. And then also, PP1 looks great too. Like in game 1,
I like the way they move the puck.
Yeah, they scored, and then game 2
expired. But
so so there are things. Special teams look great. I think also too, another thing, got to figure out some line synchronization or some chemistry, right? Like, and I understand, like, it's still early in the year.
Yeah.
So, like,
even more than finding chemistry, like, because chemistry will come, and I think they did find some like the Olsen line's just going to stay together. They're great together.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And then, whatever you do with the rest, find it. But I think the big thing is just being able to string together a series of shifts that have momentum.
Yeah.
It felt like sometimes, the Versolano, Calendike, Olsen line would jump out and it would create a little momentum, but then it would be followed up by a shift where they would take the momentum back. And then they would string a couple together, but then another line would come out and be able to kind of get it going back in Liberty's favor. But then it was difficult for Liberty just to have that wave of shifts where it stayed in the offensive zone.
And that goes back to being able to break it out. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Puck is
that's a good
get
point.
in your defensive zone. That's hockey, but being able to get it out quickly, and play through the neutral zone.
A couple times too, where I'm like, pull the trigger. Like I would say, Finch. I was watching him in warm-ups, and he has got an uncanny shot. Like I don't honestly get it. Calendike's got some great whip. Like you watch him, the flex he puts on it. I'm like, okay, I get why he has one of the best shots in the league. Finch, I'm watching him. I'm like, I don't know how he gets so much on it. Like he's got a really short stick, so he can pull the puck in near his feet really well, and he's got hands that go with it. But man, it just flies off his tape.
Lot of muscle.
Yeah, is that what it is?
He
upper
is
body,
a strong boy.
and I guess lower. Like you have to have core and lower body too to shoot it well. But man, he can let it ride. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, we saw you score in game 2 off a shot high stick. Like when you are when you're from the circles down. If I'm the coaching staff, I'm like, you shoot that puck. Like, I don't care. Shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Unless you have a backdoor tap in. Still then, maybe even shoot.
Yeah.
Like that's how good of a shot he has. Like I think this kid has the potential to be a special player. I see why they're high on him. And I like the grit to his game. You know, there's areas I don't like where just be careful. This is my thing to Ryan Finch. Don't put the target on your back too much. He picked up a glove. He picked up a glove, carried over to a guy, dropped it just before it got funny. And it's a head game, but people are like elephants. Like they're going to remember. You know what I mean? You don't want to get crunched from behind just for a little play like that. But I really like what he brings to the table. Like he's a skilled player. And when he finds that chemistry with his line, it's going to be great. But I want to see, there's a play that comes to mind with him where he got the puck into the far circle from my vantage point, and he could have let it rip. And he passed it off, trying to find somebody that was open. And I don't know what exactly happened, if they got a stick on the pass or what. But I'm just like, you let it go. Just let it go more than he showed in his first weekend. And I think he could easily be. I think he could pop 30. I really do. That's a big number to me with the schedule we have.
Exactly.
I think
with
he's
the schedule.
I think with his shot and his ability, he's capable of doing that.
Yeah.
No, we're talking special players here. Rhett, just take a moment.
Yeah.
Talk about Hunter.
Oh my gosh. What I'm glad I did not write that down, but that was like the number one thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Best goalie in the nation.
Yes.
I'm declaring it right now.
Absolutely.
And I know in his mind he's probably like, well, we got beat 4-2, we got beat 5-3. I don't care.
Yeah.
Goodness sakes. Like some of the saves he had were just unreal. I know we'll talk about the one in a second.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But even on the midnight game, like he had one stop where it was like a broken play and it came to his right, camera angles left, and it was just kind of choppy and like a quick shot low. Like they that's one thing Minot State did really well, is a lot of pucks low. They're not missing the net often. They're getting a lot on because they keep it low and they don't miss high. And he somehow got a piece of it, and I was just like, good grief. Like Coburn and I were both like, that was a lot better save than it looked. And then the one that got retweeted out by Spit and Chicklets was just insanity.
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't even realize in the moment, because I was so impressed by the first save, that he made another stop after it. Did you guys catch that?
No.
So like he made that save, it came out, Buddy shoots it again, and I don't, like, it wasn't like he actually actively made a save, but he was still in good enough position, he stopped it.
Yeah.
It just, he is going to give this team every and any opportunity to win every night.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
blows your mind.
when you make 45 plus saves in both games, right? Because Minot State had 50
Against
plus
a
shots.
good team.
Yes, team that possesses the puck very well, and like Red said, does great shot selection. Like that's huge.
Yeah, and
really is.
Speaking of goalies, an alumni shutout. Blair Bennett messaged me this weekend, just in awe of some of the saves for Hunter. But then also, as I mentioned last week, talking about the broadcast, he goes, "Gosh, Pat looks good." I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, I know it.
I will say this. I was mentioning this earlier on the broadcast. Hunter Vorostic right now is number 2 on my all-time Liberty goalie list.
Okay.
Mike Binney's still number 1.
Yeah.
Just from what he was able to do and take the team on his back, basically, to, was it the Penn State year they go to the championship? No, that wasn't the year.
So it was the Penn State year. We lost in the Final Four to Illinois, who only team, I believe, to ever go undefeated.
That's right. Yeah. But Mike Binney was special.
And that game was special.
Yeah, that was a special. And then, too, just that year, I remember Liberty was taking on Oklahoma one game, and they got down 3-0 early, and goalie got pulled. Binney came in, and I just said to myself, we're going to win. Like, he is just going to shut the door the rest of the way, and we won something to 3.
Wow.
Like, that 1 year, and not just only that year, but he got into a zone where he could just lock it down. And Hunter's really close to that. If Hunter can win a national championship or take this team to, a national championship game, he's got to be right there, like for the top goalie all time.
Well, like if it ends up coming to fruition that way, he'll be the national player of the year.
Oh yeah.
It won't be.
It's insane. Like it really is. Just the one we forget about too is earlier in that game he stopped one off the paddle. 44.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. Like Manias is like yawning cage. Buddy's like, first career goal. It's just like, boom. I'm sure Buddy was just like, oh my gosh, like what do I have to do to get it by one? Some teams are going to really struggle that teams that don't want to play that really just gritty, nasty style that Minot State do, if Hunter can stay in a zone like he's in right now for the course of the season, which is difficult to do, but I think he could do it. You're going to have some teams that are just like breaking their sticks in frustration because he's so good. And I want to give the D credit too. Like I know I've kind of harped on them earlier about off the glass and out. And I think that just comes with a mindset change. One aspect I really love about the D-core of Liberty this year is just their ability to use their legs to clear the zone. Kevin Byte, great skater. Mox, love what he does. I really like Legowski. I know he's playing third pair minutes right now, but at the same time, I like what he does. Like he's a smart D. He's big. He knows what his capabilities are, and he does not play outside of that, which I appreciate 100%. Some people come down and get the aroma of, ooh, I love this crowd. I'd love to score a goal. Doesn't care. He's happy with just being who he is, and good for you, bud. Like that's you're going to go a long way that way in this Liberty hockey system. But overall, like 1 through 6, I think this is a really, really solid D-core, and especially you're missing Kovic for these two games. His beef would have been
huge,
a nice addition
in front
against
of the
this
net.
team. Yeah. Like I think overall they played well, but. And more so, in my opinion, I think Liberty beat themselves this weekend than Minot beat them, truthfully. And just going on the little things we were talking about, like being able to get first touch clears on the PK. How many did they score? They scored their second night on the power play, right? Their one power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
So, like overall, I thought the PK was great. Like,
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. When you go 1 out of, you allow 1 goal on 8 against the number 1 team in the nation, it was a good showing. I still think there's some areas you can clean up. Just first touch clears. Get that puck on your stick. Get it out. And that will go a long way into just disrupting second and third opportunities where Hunter has to be spectacular for you. But I know I'm kind of focusing on the adjustments I'd like to see happen. And one other one, I'm going to just get it out of the clear. Yeah. Board battles. I thought Minot State had the edge there in winning 50-50 pucks.
Yes.
They seem to do a really good job along the boards. But that's all part of his season. And a lot of it comes down to, truthfully, is just simplifying. It's not making your game more complicated. It's simplifying your game. It's not harder to shoot a puck low and off the pads than it is to shoot it high and over the net. It's actually harder when you go high. If you miss short side high, it's hitting off the glass and it's rolling and it's going to potentially clear the zone. So you're making your life easier by getting shots low, going off the glass, doing a neutral zone forecheck. And 50-50 battles are all about heart and soul. And I'm not saying this team doesn't have it. I thought their effort level was there this weekend. I just think it's a few little areas of execution that will go a long way as they head north this weekend.
Yeah,
right.
And that's why this weekend is so telling, right? Like, what are the adjustments we're going to make? How are we going to respond? What are we going to be able to kind of clean up a bit?
Obviously, all eyes are going to be on up north, North Dakota this weekend to watch that weekend series. Can't wait to see what the results are. Women's Division 1 started off the year, one dub versus the Washington Pride, winning that one 2-0. Brielle Fussy scoring both goals for the Lady Flames. Story making 15 saves in the shutout victory. I think the telling thing, you look at the score, you're like, oh, they only scored 2, but they did outshoot them 2-1.
Yeah, and I think also too, because it's funny. Yesterday I was talking to people about that game, and they're like, "Oh, only 2-0," and I was like, "Well, yeah, but like in times that series has been tight. Like I know you look at last year's score where they blow them out, but like it has been tight." And I had to even go back into the history bank. I was like, "Well, in Chris Loza's first year, they actually lost both games. They lost 4-0." And 4-3, and they went on to win a national championship with only 1 loss in the regular season. So, like, that's how telling that program is, right? So, like, and that's the point of those first 2 games, too, like, to see what you got and also try to start building chemistry. And even this upcoming weekend, that's the point of those games, too, before you get into ACHA play to start kind of get some games under your belt and some of those reps, and then also some tape so you can make those adjustments. But I think for my coaching staff, you have to be happy with to see, like you said, possessing the puck well, especially in the O-zone, the shot selection, outshooting them, which I think is going to be a telling thing. And then also defensively, I heard the girls played very well. The D-core did an excellent job blocking shots, and then also Amanda Story just doing what she does best, right? Making save after save.
Yeah, exactly. And with this game against the Pride, I mean, there was tons of different D pairings getting thrown out there, tons of different lines, a lot of things getting mixed up, switched up. And I think the coaches view it as like good opportunities. Pat, you always say like get some tape, get some different looks, get some opportunities for different people to step up or, get an idea of who they are, where they're at. But the stat that always kind of concerns me is very rarely do we not outshoot teams, right? I think back to our first loss last year against McKendree. Far and away, we outshot them, but I want to see a couple girls emerge as I'm going to get that point in this game, whether it's the big assist, whether it's the big goal. Brielle obviously came up big, but we always outshoot teams. We're just so fast, so skilled, but I do want to see that score just get a little bit higher as we kind of move on here, especially. Yeah. There's a couple of great opportunities where we just missed the net wide or high or something like that. So good shots, good opportunities on the goal were far more than 36. But yeah, we'll see, right? First game, lots of different looks. All overall, always got to be happy coming out with a win.
Yeah, and the competition, I would say it ramps up this week. HCI quality program, and then you get another couple looks at the ladies. Is there any areas that you want to see more of, Pat?
I mean, I think you want to see specialty teams, right? Like you always want to see. We talked about it last week. How you almost you need the Lady Flames. They got to be clicking in that area, right?
Like 40%.
Yeah, on the power play, and then also on the
PK.
PK, thank you. Yeah, right. Where you're hoping they can, with the speed that they have to, cash in on some short-handed chances too this season. But I mean, as a whole, like Kerr just mentioned, it's all about just getting those game reps and just getting more tape, right, before you start getting into the ACHA play.
I honestly think in women's Division I, power play is the most important area of the game to have perfected.
Oh, all right.
I really do, because so many of these games are low scoring that if you were given. So here, let me pause on that really quick. You typically see games where the score is 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, right? That's a prototypical score in women's hockey. If you're given 4 opportunities a game to score on the power play, and you can click at a 40 to 50% rate, which I think Liberty is capable of with the talent they have, that just starts to blow the doors off. Like pressure of scoring 5-on-5. You want to be able to score 5-on-5. Don't get me wrong. Like that's an important part of playing. But at the same time, if you're knowing, hey, we are going to get 2 goals every night off the power play, all of a sudden you're just playing so much looser. That's my honest thought. And then too, in playoff time, when the ice gets smaller and there's less room, being able to capitalize on the power play is that much more important.
And it's a breath of fresh air or a sigh of relief when you have the penalty drawing magnet Britton Fussy on the ice.
Oh, right.
She's good to get 3 called against her per game. It's incredible.
It feels like it, right?
Yeah.
The speed.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about them, Pat?
No, I'm just excited to see how they do against HDI this upcoming weekend.
It'll be fun. Yeah. HDI, and too, good team to recruit from.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Other teams, no. Liberty, yes. All right. As we move our attention now to men's Division II, first 2 games of the year, taking on Delaware, the Blue Hens, and winning 5-1 and 3-1.
Yeah. The biggest thing I think I take away, a lot of depth of scoring, right? Yes. Like, obviously, I'm sure the 5-1 victory is probably more what you wanted to see, and the 3-1, probably not as much what you're going to see. But at the same time, they're dubs. So that huge, it just stinks because of that goal differential plays such a big factor.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but you still were able to get 2 big wins. And again, like we said, just for the ladies, got a lot of tape that they can look at now. And now moving forward, it's about trying to redefine some things and continue for them, building chemistry, right? Because a lot of different new forward pairings, especially with some of the new guys that they brought in this upcoming season.
Yeah, for me, game 1 went as expected, right? The guy said it. I want to see some domination from these D2 Flames here. I think they just have such a great team. Pat, you mentioned it, of the multiple different guys that could score. From the defensive end, I thought they had speed, whether it's D retrievals, whether it's breaking the puck out. I was excited there. And I want to mention, too, of when you watch our D2 team, Roman Lamoureux, and I'm going to call her out because we were just talking about the ladies, but Rowan Lamoureux and Haley Battles are just so fun and exciting to watch.
Yes.
When they get ahead of steam, they're so fast, so skilled. They cross the blue line. You just want to like hold your breath. Like, what is he gonna do? What's she gonna do? Right? It's good. And then they're in game 2. This is a hockey question for you, Rhett. My boy Higgy, he didn't light up the scoreboard, but he did get that goal.
Yeah,
there you go.
But it was an empty netter. So do you keep that puck as your first game, as your first goal as a Flame, scoring on an empty netter? What do you think?
do.
You do.
You do.
Okay.
It's your first goal.
Yeah.
Even if it's a yawning gauge, it's still your first goal.
All right.
I would say the same too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep it.
Okay.
So.
That's my boy. I didn't know if it was like,
No.
oh, no, you throw that one back.
No.
Go get another one. You never know.
Maybe you keep the next one as well, but you gotta keep it first. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think too, going off, you said domination.
Yeah.
In period 1 in both games, you thought for one point, you're like, oh man, Liberty's going to roll in this team because both games they went up 2-0.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh man, like, are they going to pot some? But I think that credits also Delaware really making those adjustments in the second and third in both games and just their goaltender just kind of standing on his head, trying to be able to give his team a chance.
Yeah. I mean, you alluded to it, Pat, and like, man, and Chris Lowe's, when he was with Men's D2, talked about it all the time of how tough it is because of that goal differential being weighted so heavy. So it's a good outlook for this team, though, because, again, they could pass around the scoring. They have the shooters, and they have goaltending and D to kind of shut other teams down, keep their scores low so their forwards could run the score up if need be.
I think on next week's show, we need to break out the formula for the rankings and look at the goal differential because it is such a big part of it.
Yeah.
It reminds me back in the day, there was this one team we played at the D3 level that played just a horrible schedule, but outscored everybody by the max margin, and they were in the conversation. But when we played them and we were a borderline top 10 team that year, we smoked them 8-1. So there's something wrong then when they're getting votes and they're almost in there, but you're bottom of the barrel teams in the sense of we weren't bottom of the barrel, we're still top 10, but the teams that are just fighting to get in can smoke them.
Right.
Yeah.
I always love when you look at top scorers in the league and you're like, who?
Yeah.
From where? Like, what team is that?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Flames set to take on the Profs this weekend, 2-game series, a bit of a stiffer test for them. We'll see how it goes. Always quality chances in games against Rowan. As we look at Men's Division 3, they are going to travel south to take on the Gamecocks.
Yeah, rematch of last year's Nationals event, and I think for them, talking to Coach Wagner, he's excited for this opportunity with this team. Like, obviously, especially after their exhibition, they were pleased with how that game went, playing tough competition. So now he's pretty excited. Now he's like, I'm excited to get things going in AAU and see how that goes, especially in our first game. Because, again, it then also gives them a sampling on how the year goes because, South Carolina is one of the better teams that they're going to play on this schedule.
Yeah, I just view it as, I don't want to say new team because obviously they have some key returners coming back, but new team in the sense of, a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, and new coaching staff. So I think you go down there and just have kind of like Men's D1's expectations of no matter how this goes, it's not going to define our year. It's not going to define our season. When we look historically at Men's D3 in the past couple of years, it's been, 1 or 2 games, 1 loss in the beginning, and then they seem to go on this kind of streak throughout the fall. So I'd love to see that kind of just, figure things out here in the beginning and then identify who you are as a team, who you are as a coaching staff, adjustments to systems, and carry that throughout your fall.
Kind of the same for Women's Division 2 as well, as they take on a new year, a lot of new bodies. And
A lot of new ones.
Taking on Rowan as well.
Yeah, I mean, doubleheader versus the Profs for 2 of the teams at home this weekend. But yeah, I think for kind of like D3, Women's D2, like they do return more bodies in the same coaching staff. But yeah, they have some key girls coming in now that they're expecting to play some big minutes. And that's the same with D3. They have some bodies that came on to the team expecting to play a big factor. So I think for both clubs, like especially for the Lady Flames here, this upcoming weekend, like you're trying to be able to, 1, get them acclimated and just get them comfortable, right? Play a simple game, but then 2, I think a little bit different well, actually for both teams, a little bit of revenge in these games, right?
Yeah,
Rowan made nationals for the ladies, just beat our lady teams, even though had the same record. It was 2-2-2.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the bigger thing. So expect Coach Leon. She's gonna get these girls fired up, ready to go.
Yeah. I got to speak to Rena this morning, and she gave a word. I won't give her prediction out here into the world of kind of what she's expecting from the weekend, but she's thinking it's going to go pretty well. But she did mention of depth and speed. And at that women's D2 level, if you're just faster, that's women's hockey in general. If you're just the faster team,
yes,
holy, what an advantage. And then having depth as well when, it's easy to game plan for teams that have one or two big dogs, right? You could shut them down, but when you have depth throughout your lines there, that's really what makes a difference. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how it plays out for the ladies this weekend. But I am expecting, and I'm calling some dubs.
All right.
Yes.
I'm calling it out now.
Yeah, I feel like should be a good weekend all around for Liberty Hockey. I expect. Just going back all the way up to the top of the show, men's D1. I expect a lot of adjustments to have been made for teams that have played and then teams that are going into their first set of league games that you're going to see a lot of success this weekend.
Yeah. We're rolling now.
Love to hear
That's
it.
right.
Yeah. Next week's show is going to be packed again. All 5 teams out of the 5 divisions playing this weekend. We'll be back next week to break it all down. We'll see you then.